Good morning to all my dear students. Hope with the God grace you all are safe and fine. My dear student, instead of PD subject, Government of Maharashtra has introduced new subject that is water security for the standard 9th. It is divided into two parts. For the first semester you will be going to get 50 marks, and for the second semester you will be going to get 50 marks. It is a grading subject. The same way as you are writing for the PD subject, the question answers or the assignment given by me for the same subject, you will be going to get the assignment that you are supposed to write it in your PD book only. My dear student, this subject is divided into 4 units. The first unit is related to water education, second unit is water conservation, third is water management, fourth is water activity. My dear student, here we will be understanding what is water cycle. In the unit first we will be understanding what is water cycle, cloud, precipitation, rain, seepage and runoff. So that we will be understanding. So let's watch the video till end, because once this video is over, you will be going to, in the next week you will be going to get the assignment, so you will have to write down in your PD book. So let's watch the video.
Cycle. Now, the term water. What do you understand by the term water cycle? You all have studied earlier in your earlier classes related to some water cycle, right? So we'll study again. It's just a revision of what you have studied earlier. The topic is just a revision, okay? So it's easy for you all to understand. So now let's begin. About 71% of the earth's surface is covered by water, as you all know that, okay? Now, this mass of water is found in various forms such as fresh water, ocean water, glacials, and as well as atmospheric vapor. These are the various forms of water which has been found on the earth. Now, this water supply is constantly changing from one form to another. As you all know, it keeps on changing. That is, it evaporates from rivers into ocean and back into atmosphere through the process of evaporation from the ocean. So this cycle is a continuous cycle. It is not disturbed by anything, okay? This cycle is indestructible, okay? You cannot stop it. It happens naturally, okay? And it will continue to happen. Next, now let us understand the water cycle. How does it happen? Now, severe heat causes the water in the ocean to evaporate, right? Now, as it is lighter, it rises to the sky, okay? It forms clouds together. It becomes heavier because of the water in it. Due to the cloud air, water from clouds that falls on the ground in the form of rain, this water flows to the rivers and return back to the sea. In this way, the water travels from different conditions and returns to the sea. That is, a cycle is completed. This is called as water cycle. So what is this water cycle? We can see the water is been evaporated by the heat of the sun, right? Now, as it is lighter, it rises to the sky. It goes upwards towards the sky. It forms clouds together. Now, when it forms clouds, it becomes heavier. So, when it becomes heavier, then it comes down in the form of rain. Now, this rainwater flows through rivers, right? And it goes to meet the sea. So again, in this way, again the water is been evaporated from the sea and it goes back to the sky to form clouds. So that means the cycle goes on and it is a continuous cycle. So this cycle is called as water cycle. So this journey from sea to sea is due to the constant movement of water in the earth's underground Okay, due to the earth's underground evaporation, transpiration from the leaves of plants, liquefaction, precipitation, seepage from the soil, runoff water from the surface and subsoil, etc. So these are the various factors, okay, which helps in this process of water cycle. Now, while this is happening, water goes through various stages such as liquid, gaseous and solid. Now, let us see the next, evaporation. The process by which water gets converted into vapors due to heat is called as evaporation. Now, this is essential part of water cycle. It is the most important part of the water cycle. Only when the heat is evaporated, that is by the heat of the sun, okay, the heat of the sun causes this process of evaporation from lake, sea, soil, right, and other sources of water. Okay, so only when it happens, then only we can get the water back in the form of rains. The higher the temperature, the higher the evaporation rate. That is, at lower temperature there is less evaporation, and at higher temperature there is higher rate of evaporation. So that means water in the form of gas is called as vapor. So the water is evaporated in the form of vapor. Okay, that is in the form of gas. So that is that water which is evaporated in the form of gas is called as vapor. Next, condensation. Now you can try this activity. You can take a water in a glass jar and cover it with the lid. Okay. Now place the jar in sunlight. Now after 30 minutes, observe this inside of the jar. Okay, just see what happens. You can see what is the result. You can try this at home. Now let's see, the next is condensation. What is condensation? As the vapor rises higher, the air pressure naturally decreases and the temperature begins to decrease. As the temperature drops, the vapor begins to liquefy. As long as a tiny drop of water is light in weight, it is weighted in the air. As these tiny drops come together to form large droplets, they transform into clouds that appear over a large area of the sky. Now, this vapor is also seen as a mist near the ground. This vapor is also carried in the clouds. Okay, there are also tiny droplets of water in the cloud. Okay, which increase in the size and weight and collide with each other and fall as a rain on the earth under favorable conditions. So, there are different types of rainfall. Water is a mixture of water and hail, only hail and snow depending upon the situation. So, rainfall can be in a form of water, it can be in a form of snow, also it can be in a form of hail. Now, hail means you all have heard the word hailstones. Okay, it is a solid form of ice. Okay, which is more, we'll see we will see it further how it looks like. Okay, we'll come across that, so don't worry. Next, now what is a cloud? Now let us see exactly what is a cloud. Now clouds that form in the sky are also the form of water, right? Now the warmth of sun causes water to evaporate from the surface of the earth as well as from the surface of the ocean. So as it is light, it goes up into atmosphere. Now the cold air in the high altitude slow down the movement of vapor molecules. This slow down movement causes these vapor molecules to come together and freeze them. During this time, fine dust also from the air begins to accumulate around it. So when this process is happening, okay, the dust which is present in the air also get mixed along with that vapor molecules. So these particles are called as condensation nuclei. So these particles which form together with the help of vapor molecules is called as condensation nuclei. Now, there are different types of clouds. Let us see the different types of clouds. First is a giant cloud or a huge cloud. Now you can see the picture is shown there. What is how does a giant cloud looks and how does a crazy black cloud or a gray black cloud looks like. So first one, a giant or a huge cloud. Now, as water vapor freezes, a large amount of energy is generated along with it. Okay, so now it gets accumulated in this, now this energy gets accumulated in this giant cloud. So as a result of this, there is a thunder and lightning which takes place. Now sometimes they fall on the earth in the form of large fireballs, and sometimes they can be a major storm or a hurricane. You have heard these words, right? Next, crazy black cloud or grey black cloud. Now you can see the picture how it looks like. They are very large cloud, okay, which can cause heavy rainfall at any time. Okay, sometimes it can also cause a snowfall. Next, condensation, or it can be also said as compression. Now what is condensation, or we can say what is compression? Condensation is a process by which the vapor in the air or atmosphere decreases and is converted back into water particles. So that means the unsaturated air, or the air which has very or the air which has a humidity which has a very less humidity, or you can say humidity less than 100%. Okay, it cools down as the temperature decreases. So as a result, the evaporation capacity also goes down. Eventually this air becomes vaporized, which means it is a relative humidity is 100%. Now the temperature level at which the unsaturated air evaporates at certain temperature is called the dew point. Okay, so the temperature at which the unsaturated air, the air which is unsaturated, it evaporates at certain temperature. Okay, so that is called as a dew point. Now in this action of condensation, there are two factors which are very important. Okay, the first one is the temperature in the air and the second one is a relative humidity. So the condensation depends upon only these two factors. So that means if the relative humidity, that means as the temperature of a humid air decreases, it evaporates and greater condensation occurs. Now during condensation, vapor is converted into water particles, or also it can be converted into ice. That means the dust that is required for the formation of these water particles or ice particles is called as waterborne dust. Now if the temperature level is above freezing point, now we all know what is the freezing point, right? It is below 0 degrees Celsius. So if the temperature is below that freezing point during condensation, then the conversion of vapor into water particles is seen in different forms like a dew, fog, clouds or rains. Okay. Now if during the condensation process the dew point is below freezing point, that is below 0 degree, then the vapor is converted into ice and there is dew, hail or a snowfall. So that means the overall condensation requires a lot of humidity in the air, and the temperature of air also has to go down. Okay. Next, rain. Now, due to the inability of large water particles to float in the air, due to the big size, the water particles fall in the form of rain. Now, the rain cannot come down, the water particles, they are very large, so they cannot come down in a big size. They have to come down in a small particles. So that means they are divided into small particles. That is, they come in the form of rain. So water falling from clouds to the ground in liquid or solid form is called as a rainfall. Now there are two forms of rain. First is snowfall and the other one is a hail. Now snowfall everyone knows, when the temperature goes below freezing point. Okay, the precipitation that takes place when steam is directly converted into snow is called as a snowfall. And hail means the pellets of frozen rain which fall in showers are called as hail. You all can see how it looks like in the picture. Okay, next, how does it rain? Rainfall in the Indian subcontinent is called monsoon. Okay, now the word monsoon is derived from the Arabic word that is Mausam. Now Mausam means it is also known as season. Now when the clouds are joined by the wind, the clusters of cloud begins to come down in the form of drops due to the weight of water. Okay, now in between some drops they vanish, okay, but some of the drops reach the earth from the atmosphere. That is what we call as rain. Now during this time the size of the vapor dust increases. When they cannot carry their own weight, they separate from the clouds and fall to the ground in the form of rain. Now when the large amount of evaporated clusters come together, there is a dense or black clouds which forms. Okay, now even when the sun rays cannot penetrate them and reach the earth, at such time there is no appearance of sun during the day. Now you all can see sometimes it is very cloudy, no sun at all. Why? Because the sun rays cannot reach to the earth. They are covered with those large clusters of clouds. Okay, those dark clouds. That is why we cannot see the sun. At such time there is no appearance of sun during daytime. These black clouds together can go very high. Now very large and black clouds can reach height up to 15 km in the tropic. This type of clouds can cause very heavy or torrential rain. Next, the journey of water. Now everyone can see the water cycle. So now I will just explain you how it happens. Now what is what is available everywhere on the earth? It can be in the form of solid, it can be in the form of vapor, or it can be in the form of any liquid, right? Now due to the heat of the sun, the temperature rises. So when the temperature rises, the transition of water to vapor continuously happens. So this process continues uninterrupted in any type of open reservoirs such as lakes, rivers, seas. Similarly, the evaporation of water in animal and plant body also continues. The vapor created by this evaporation becomes lighter and goes up in the air. Now all this vapor form clouds, they rise up in the atmosphere. Now these clouds, which are formed by the mixture of fine dust particles, they freeze due to the cold air in the upper atmosphere. Now when these clouds are blowing with the wind, they get blocked by mountain or a very high mountain ranges and move higher. The size of such clouds also increases. At the same time, water droplets made up of tiny particles become larger and heavier in size and eventually fall back to the ground and in the form of rain. This rainwater flows back down to the hillside and takes the form of small streams, brooks, and then forms itself into a river or flows into the river. Sometimes it can accumulate in the form of lakes. Sometimes it can also it can flow and meet towards the sea. Meanwhile, this water quenches the thirst of various plants, animals and human beings. Now, as we know, all plants absorb groundwater according to their needs and release it into the atmosphere through the leaves during transpiration. So, this cycle continues throughout the year and year after year. Now, this continuous circulation of water on the earth, that is the convection of water from the ocean to the atmosphere, from the atmosphere to the land, and from the land back to the ocean, is called as water transition cycle, or it is also called as water cycle. Now, even though the level of water on the earth is almost constant, water molecules come in and out of the atmosphere. Now, water flows from one reservoir to another through physical process such as evaporation, runoff, condensation, precipitation, right? So, while this is happening, water is transformed into solid, liquid and gaseous form. 1/3 of the water that falls to the ground goes back to the ocean through the surface or subsurface water flows. The remaining 2/3 of the water re-enters the atmosphere due to evaporation and transpiration of plants. Thus, a gross water transition cycle gets continued. Next, different types of rainfall. Now, let us see 3 different types of rainfall. You can see the picture over here. The first one is ascending or converging precipitation or rainfall. Now, in ascending rainfall, the air cools after reaching a certain height. Okay. Now, this process by which the air move upwards is called as ascent. Okay. Ascent means the air is moving in a upward direction. Okay. After that, the cold air has a low evaporation capacity, so it condenses and converts into water particles and rains. This type of rainfall occurs in regions where there is a very large upward movement of air, as well as in the areas where it is not much in a horizontal line. That means in the equatorial region, such rain usually occurs during afternoon. Next, resistance rainfall. Winds containing vapors from the sea or large reservoirs are blocked by high mountain ranges in the path and begin to follow the mountains. Due to the low temperature at the altitude, the vapor in this air condenses and it rains. This rain is called as resistance rain, and it occurs or else it falls due to the obstruction. There is an obstruction. What is the obstruction? There is a mountain in the way, so it moves along with the mountain. Rainfall is heavier on the slopes in the direction in which the winds follow the mountain, while in the areas where the wind crosses the mountain, the amount of rainfall decreases as the amount of air vapor decreases, and the vapor holding capacity of the air increases. Such a region with low rainfall is called as a rain shadow region. Next, third one, periodic rainfall. A low pressure belt is formed at specific place in the air, so that the winds from the adjacent region are attracted in that direction. So, when the winds move in a circular direction and at a tremendous speed, there is a this is called as a cyclone, or it can be also called as a periodic. Now, when a cyclone is formed in the region, the air in the cyclone starts to go up. Now, as the ray goes in the upward direction, it rises, so its temperature decreases and the vapor in the air condenses, and due to that the rain falls. Such precipitation is called as cyclonic precipitation, or it can also be called as cyclone precipitation. The cyclones move from one place to another and rain falls whenever they pass. This type of rainfalls more in temperate this type of rainfall more in temperate belts. Also in the tropics there is some cyclonic or periodic rainfall which is stormy. Now out of all the above three types of rainfall, resistance type of rain falls in most parts of the world. There is such certainty in ascending resistance and there is such certainty in ascending type rains, and but there is also uncertainty in resistance and periodic rainfall. Therefore, in the cases sometimes we have to face disasters like heavy rains, floods, and sometimes droughts. Now, if you consider Maharashtra, there is a resistance rainfall in Western Ghats. Okay. Now, rainwater, when it falls on the ground, some of the water it seeps into the ground, okay, or it is also carried to the ocean in the form of runoff. Now, let us see what do you mean by seepage and runoff. Now, as we know, when the rainwater falls on the ground, not all the surface water flows in the rivers. Some water it seeps into the soil. Groundwater is the water that seeps into the soil. The period of surface water flow depends on the porosity of the soil, the type of the soil, the slope of the groundwater, etc. So, there are various factors which depends in the process of seepage of water. Now, depending on the factors, water seep first into the subsoil and then deeper into the ground. Groundwater recharge occurs. To some extent, this water can come up to the surface as a source of living water. Deep-seated water can be stored in the soil for a long time. Next, runoff. A watershed in an area of land on which all rainwater that falls is collected in the specific source of water. Watershed, size, length, width, rainfall, soil texture and other properties are related to each other. They determine the limit of water accumulation or stagnation of the catchment area. Runoff is an integral part of the water cycle. Its regulation and management is intended for watershed development. Now, surface water and groundwater are stored in lakes naturally created due to topography. In the river basins,